Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is currently 1:59 a.m. on this freezing cold Sunday going into Monday morning. Happy Valentine's Day. It is currently 10 degrees outside in Indianapolis, Indiana. We got home about a half an hour ago. Alex literally carried his bags upstairs, said goodnight, turned on the fan, turned on the rainstorms on Alexa, and he was out. He was in bed and out. And I was like, kind of putting some of my stuff away, but not really. I just carried my bags upstairs, and even I left them out in the hallway, which I don't usually do, but I didn't want to disturb him. He has to be up super early tomorrow for work. He has to be at work at 7:30 tomorrow morning. So yeah, he was really tired. Our plane got in tonight, and then it just kind of sat there forever, probably like 20 minutes, and they were waiting. I don't know, they were waiting for something for us to be able to like go to the gate. But anyway, hi, how are you? It feels kind of weird being back in the car tonight. And I was actually gonna wait until tomorrow morning to vlog, but I have so many things to do tomorrow. I have my literature group tomorrow night, and I have to pick up the dogs tomorrow afternoon, and because they have to get their baths first before we pick them up. So then we pick them up in the afternoon, and then I have to do a bunch of, like, I have a bunch of errands I have to run tomorrow, and then videos that I want to make. So I have lots of things to do. That is tomorrow, Valentine's Day. I don't think we're really going to do anything for Valentine's Day because this weekend was really, you know, kind of our Valentine's Day. In fact, somebody commented, I think they commented on my picture on Instagram, and they were like, I thought you were staying through Valentine's Day. We would have if Alex didn't have like meetings tomorrow and stuff. But it was actually like the perfect length of a trip. I need to get some more of that Sol de Janeiro lip gloss or lip balm, because I've been using lip gloss, which is totally fine, but I need some lip balm too. It was actually like the perfect length of a trip, and today was really nice. I slept in, you guys, late. Last night I got completely caught up on Euphoria. I watched the last episode 5 last night. I feel like I watched something else too, because I went to bed late. I went to bed between like 4 and 5, and I slept in today. It was supposed to be like cloudy and rainy and stuff today, and so when I woke up, it was like 11 o'clock or something, and Alex was sitting there, and he was like watching a TV show on his iPad, and I said, is it nice outside? I couldn't really see from like the bed. When I get up in the morning, my eyes are so cloudy and stuff, you know, and he was like, no, he was like, it's cloudy and rainy, and he was like, and it's cool today too. So I was like, do you just want to hang out in the room for most of the day? And he was like, yeah, that's totally fine with me. So we literally hung out in the room until we had to leave, which was like really nice, so we could just stay in the room all day today. So we didn't check out until we left, which we left about 6:30, 6:45 to go there. We left our room at 6:30, and we got in the Uber about 10 till 7, so we had to check out and stuff. So it was nice. Alex watched episode 5 of Euphoria, and then we both thought that episode 6 had already come out, so we were going to watch that today, but it didn't. And he watched that new movie with Jennifer Lopez, Marry Me. He said it was cute. He said it was a cute rom-com. I was like, do you think I would like it? He was like, I don't know. I like those rom-com movies. I loved those, like, Julia Roberts rom-coms back in the day, like Notting Hill. I love that movie, Notting Hill. So, Bridesmaids, that's a comedy. We wouldn't really call that a rom-com, would we? Kind of. Anyway, those kind of movies I think are cute. And I like packed. Oh, so I was like, well, if we don't have to get up, I'm gonna go back to bed. And I like slept, and then I got up, and then I went back to sleep, and then I got up and kind of like did stuff. And so finally at about 2 o'clock, I made a cup of coffee and I got out of bed and I sat on the patio. It was so cloudy, and it was kind of cold, like almost like I needed a sweatshirt or a sweater cold. And so I started packing my stuff. I kind of did it in waves today. I don't really ever get unpacked, so I don't ever really need to pack, if that makes sense, when we leave, because I just live out of my suitcase. Alex like unpacks everything. So all of my stuff was kind of together, and we had done the Q&A yesterday that I posted on my channel today. So I didn't have any videos to make until I got home tonight to vlog. And so I just kind of relaxed all day long. I started that show because I was caught up with Euphoria, and I was like, okay, what do I want to watch? Do I want to watch La Brea? What do I want to watch? Oh, I know. Alex he was going to start watching Midnight, is it called Midnight Mass? But then he started watching Dexter, and then on the plane, he had downloaded Ozark, the newest season of Ozark. So I'm gonna like, at some point, I'm gonna have to get a new iPad, because here's the problem, is that because I bought the iPad for like being on lockdown, when I bought it, I didn't need any storage on it, because I was just gonna watch it from, my total intention was just to have it for at home, so like Alex could watch, because we didn't know how long we were gonna be on lockdown, right? I mean, I thought it was gonna be indefinitely, so that, well, it was at that time, but I mean, we didn't know if it'd be like, 6 or 9 months or whatever. So I got it so that we could be sitting there and like, he could watch what he wanted to watch and I could watch what I wanted to watch, and we wouldn't have to have like 2 TVs competing with each other, if that makes sense. So I didn't need any storage on it, which is why my iPad was so cheap. It was like, I mean, it wasn't cheap, but it was like $300. It was like the cheapest like Apple iPad that you can get. And it's perfectly fine, like I love it, but it doesn't have any storage on it whatsoever. I think it's like 32 gigabytes or something like that. 32 something, whatever it is. Which basically, I think it has less than my phone does, like a lot less than my phone does. Which basically means I can hold like 5 shows at an hour each, or like a movie and 3 shows, or a movie and 2 shows. Well, the problem is with this is that, you have to download everything before you leave the house, okay? So, if I'm at the airport, hold on a second, let me fix this beanbag. If I'm at the airport and I want to watch a show, or 2, like if I'm sitting there at the airport, right? Like unless I want to connect to the airport's Wi-Fi, or pay on the plane, all that kind of stuff, then I have to have shows downloaded. Well, if I watch 2 shows and then the flight's like 2 or 3 hours, like I'm cutting it close to have stuff to watch. Does that make sense? I know it's stupid, but this is just like the issue. So, like when I was downloading stuff for coming home, I had like, it said storage full, so I had to go in and start deleting stuff. And then I've gotten on the plane before when I've downloaded something, but it won't let me watch it for some reason, so I have to have like multiple things. So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna download some shows on my phone too. But then sometimes what happens is it'll say like you're trying to download from multiple devices, like if what you do it on Netflix or what, like Netflix always is a problem, but anyway. So I started watching that show Yellow Jackets today. And it's about a girls soccer team in like 1994 that's going to like the national championships, and they're playing crashes, which was really a great show to start watching as I was getting ready to get on a plane, which is so funny because I was remembering that like when I started Lost like years ago. My ex and I started it, but like I had bought the DVD set of season 1, and this is why we ended up watching it together, because I can't remember, I think we were going to Vegas, and I brought like the first 2 discs with me to like watch, and I'm like in the first episode. Well, the first episode starts off with the plane crash, right? I was like right out of the gate. You guys know I don't love to fly. I was like, I cannot do this, okay? I cannot be watching this show about a plane crash while I'm in a plane. So I didn't end up watching it, then we ended up watching it like over one whole weekend or something. But anyway, Oh my gosh. So, I am really, really tired too. I don't want to see. I want to watch the 6th episode of season 2 of Euphoria tonight before I go to bed. Like, that's my one thing I have to do before I go to bed. Well, vlog and do that. So yeah, this will be a little bit shorter tonight, like the other days have been. And then tomorrow I'll get back to regularly programmed vlogging. What was I gonna say? I don't even remember what I was gonna say, but I do know that I was gonna turn right there and go and do a circle again and come back around, and I didn't do that, so I'm gonna go up here and do a circle back and then do that again. Lost my train of thought. Oh, so I watched episode 1 of Yellow Jackets at home. My friends Aaron and Eric told me to watch it. They're like, you'll love it. We kind of like the same shows. Which I was texting Aaron today because I was telling her that I had watched the first episode, and then I was like, are you watching Euphoria? And she was like, no, not yet. I was like, you need to watch Euphoria. I said, you will love it. So she's like, yeah, I want to start it because I heard it was really good. So, they're like going on a trip soon. So she was like, I'm going to download a couple episodes and get into it. And then I said, you'll watch the whole season like in one setting. It's so good. Very sad though. So anyway, I watched the Yellow Jackets episode 1, and then I started episode 2, and I got about halfway through. I was, probably 20 minutes from the end. So I was like, I'll just finish this on the plane. And my plan had been that on the plane, I was going to watch Yellow Jackets, like 3 episodes of it. But instead I watched The Eyes of Tammy Faye with Jessica Chastain, which I'll talk about in just a second. But I wanted to talk about this episode 5 of Euphoria. Okay, I don't want to get into too much of it, but episode 5, which everybody had been saying, oh god, it's like a really tough episode and all this kind of stuff, has been... It was interesting because I got a question from somebody, I think it was on my Peter Desktop channel when I did a whole video about Euphoria, and somebody asked me on there, like, did I think that the show was healthy from the point of view of, like, it could make somebody that was like an addict want to use and whatever, and you know, like if somebody that was younger, I don't think the show is for young people, honestly. Like, the show is so heavy, and I think it talks about very real stuff, and I'm not saying that I don't think that kids in high school can't handle watching it. I just think that there need to be discussions had, you know, especially with like younger kids in high school. I think that if your kids are going to watch it, there should be like discussions that are occurring around the show. I don't know why my camera seems so much darker lately. I wonder if I like turned a knob on it or something, and I probably did, so I'll fix that for tomorrow. But anyway, does it seem darker to you? And one of my friends said something about the vlog being darker on the patio, and then I thought, well, maybe it's just the patio, but I don't know, maybe it doesn't seem darker now. I don't know. But anyway, I mean, the show is like very, very real when it comes to addiction, but very dark at the same time. So the 5th episode is really literally like, it is so heavy with how you hurt the people around you with your addiction. And it was a really hard episode for me to watch. Like a really, really, really difficult. It was the interactions that Rue has with her mom is very similar to my interactions with my dad, and it was hard for me to watch. And then, I mean, it just gets like, I told Alex at the beginning, I said, I'm like 5-10 minutes in, I'm like, this is a lot. And he goes, oh, just wait, it gets a lot more. And it just gets, I mean, you think it's just like, it can't get any worse. It just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. So the 5th episode was really tough, so I watched that last night. So on the plane today, I decided that Oh, well, let me tell you about the fun thing that happened on the way to the airport. So we get in this Uber, guy's very nice, older gentleman, nice car and everything like that. And we're like hurrying to get in there. And so like, because we're like right standing outside in front of the hotel and people are like trying to come out and stuff, kind of like where he parked. So I'm like hurrying to get in so I don't look or anything. And I sit down and we're fine and everything's fine. And we're on the way to the airport and I'm talking to Tanya on the phone about Boo and Tucker and asking her what she's doing for the Super Bowl, and she's telling me that her son and his girlfriend are coming over, and she's making weenies and those little, you know, like pigs in a blanket kind of thing, and she's making this ranch dip and all this other kind of stuff. And I can't remember what else she said. Wings, maybe? I can't remember. Boneless chicken wings? I can't remember what else. But anyway, because she used to, back in the day, like throw a big like Super Bowl party. I don't know anything. I put this out on Twitter, and like I absolutely mean no disrespect by this whatsoever. But like on the plane tonight, like when we were on getting like before the plane took off, there were like 6 guys that were sitting around us. It wasn't just actually guys, it was like their wives too, that were sitting around us, and they all like had the Super Bowl on live. Like they had somehow like gotten like Wi-Fi through their phones and they were watching it live, and they were like cheering so loud, like as if the rest of us cared as much as they did. And here's the thing, okay? And I know the Super Bowl is a big deal, don't get me wrong. When the Super Bowl was in Indianapolis, we went to all the parties, we had such a great time. But I don't care about the Super Bowl. And I don't mean that in any disrespectful way. I don't understand football, okay? I've never understood football. My mom, diehard fan of football and basketball. I live in Indianapolis, okay? Do you guys, Indiana is like such a basketball state. It is like unbelievable, right? I don't really understand basketball. I never played when I was a kid. So I don't care about football. My mom and my dad and friends and exes of mine, yes, I know it's hard to believe, but a lot of gay men do like football, have tried to teach me like the technical, like touchdown or how many downs and 2-yard lines, and I don't understand it, you guys. I think I wasn't meant to understand it, okay? And I'm not saying this to be funny. It's just like so many people have tried to teach me football and I don't get it, right? Alex understands football. He used to go to all the IU games, okay? I don't get it. I don't understand football. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I really don't care, honestly. I just really don't. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I hope everybody had a good time. I hope your team won. I know that you get excited about it just the way that I get excited about the Academy Awards. I know there's a lot of people that could care less about the Academy Awards, and, you know, it's the same thing. Everybody who says every year, oh, these movies are horrible, there's no good movies this year. It's the same thing when people say, oh, there's no good teams in the Super Bowl. I get it, right? What you like, what I like, they're two different things, right? So I hope that you enjoyed it. But like, when you're on a plane and you're trapped on a plane, like, because I couldn't believe this. Well, first of all, Alex and I thought that the airport would be dead tonight because we left at 9 o'clock. We thought because it's so late that we were flying out that it would be empty. I don't think I've ever flown out that late. And B, we thought because of the Super Bowl, nobody would be flying tonight. It was packed. The Miami airport was packed. I couldn't believe that. Our flight was almost completely full. So these guys are loud. Okay, so then, if you saw my rant video, which was absolutely based on truth, although Summer, whose husband I sat like 2 over from, his name was Eric, not Kyle, I guess. She messaged me and she sent me a really, really nice message on Twitter. It was so sweet. But anyway, so I get on the plane and this man and this woman are coming down the aisle. Very nice. Probably, I don't know, mid to late 60s. Very nice. But he is like very tall and like not heavy, just like wide. Like, I mean, he was like a big hulking man. And she looked at me and she's like looking at her ticket, and I thought, oh God, there's no way. And he sat right down in the middle, right? And then this kid came who was probably, I don't know, 22 or 23, and he sat in the window, and he just kind of like sat back in the window like this and put his headphones on. He like immediately fell asleep. Well, this guy sits in the middle, okay, of like me, and I'm like, I looked at Alex, I just was like, I mean, I was like all the way pushed over to the side. He puts his one arm down on what do you call it? armrest. His other arm in the other armrest goes like this and spreads his legs out like this. I had literally no room in this seat. So the wife is like, she's speaking to him. So he's leaning up, trying to get past me. I'm like looking back like this. Alex is in the aisle next to me, and she's sitting in the window next to Alex. And she's like, they always seat us to each other. I don't understand what's wrong. And he's like, don't worry about it. And she's like, do you want my earphones and my phone? She goes, they're listening to it on the Wi-Fi. And he was like, no, it doesn't matter. And he's like, what's the score? And she's like looking at her phone, and she's like, because people are like talking really loud about this game, right? And she's like, 22-15. He goes, it can't be 22-15. And she goes, it's 22-15. He goes, did they score? And they're like screaming it back and forth the whole time, right? So this couple in front of us, they were trying to move so they could sit together. Apparently all these couples got separated on this flight or something like that. So I knew that the guy that was supposed to be in the window seat with Alex, very calculated move on Peter's part. I knew that the guy that was in the aisle seat with Alex had gone back to talk to the flight attendant, because his wife was sitting in front of me, and he had sat down in that row originally too. And he was like, I'm just going to sit here, and then if nobody comes, because we thought the flight was going to be empty, and then all these people started coming on at the very end. So he goes back to talk to the flight attendant. Well, they move up like closer to the front. There were like, I think it was like the exit row or something, because Alex asked if there was like some place that we could move, that we could be like close, like have a seat in between us or whatever, and there was like nothing. And so, except for the exit row, which, whatever. So they go move up there, right? So I knew he wasn't coming over to the window seat, which meant it was just going to be the wife and Alex in that row. And it's now 3 of us over here. And she wanted to be next to her husband. So I leaned over and I said, do you want to exchange places with me so you can be next to your husband? Because I looked at Alex and I said, I can't sit in this seat. And he goes, well, I don't want to sit in them. I said, what if I trade places with him? He goes, Alex goes, I don't want to be in the middle seat. And I go, well, I understand that. So anyway, so I looked at her and I said, do you want to be next to your husband? And she goes, oh, you don't have to do that, sweetie. And I go, no, this is my husband, and then I can come and sit where you're sitting, and you can sit over here next to your husband. She's like, it would mean so much to me. She's like, we always sit next to each other on the flights. And I'm like, oh yeah, no problem whatsoever, because I want it over there, right? And, which is so funny, because like I always have to have an aisle seat. And she was so happy, like they were watching the football team together, and they had like each of them had, they were sharing like the earphones and whatever. She was so excited when we got to move. So I sat in the corner, I sat in the window seat. Alex and I had a seat between us. It was so nice. I was so spread out. I threw my armrest up. I'm all spread out. It was so nice. The way home was perfection. It was absolute perfection. And so yeah, I finished the 2nd episode of Yellow Jackets, which is so good. I have no idea what's going to happen to it. So it goes back and forth. It's about this soccer team in like 1994, this girls soccer team that was going to nationals, and their plane goes down in like Canada. And they survive for 19 months, but like all this horrible crap happens there. And there's some kind of like, when they get there, a couple of the girls see this symbol that's like on the trees, so you already know something like weird's gonna happen. But it flashes back and forth between then and now, or like 2021, and so the actresses that play these girls that were, in college in 1994, that play them as adults, Christina Ricci, okay, and Juliette Lewis. And who's the 3rd one? I can't think of her name. She was just in something that I watched, something else that I watched. She's the one that plays Shauna. Oh my God, they are so good, you guys. And I'm like, oh my God, I love all of these people. This is so fantastic. So I watched that. I ate too many treats on the plane. Alex was so hungry when we got to the airport, because we just ate like the leftover chips and like our Coke and stuff. Diet Coke in the room, and he had like, I think he had like 1 White Claw left that he had in like the hotel room today. So we got pizza when we got to the airport. Oh, this is what I was going to tell you. So we're on the Uber ride, right? We get out at the airport, we like are going inside, and I looked at Alex and I go, my butt is soaking wet. And he was like, what? And I go, my butt, and I had them on black, I have on black jeans. They're like brand new, like they're black. And I said, my butt is soaking wet. I sat in something in that car that was wet. And I'm thinking like a spilled bottle of water or something like that. That's where my mind went first, right? And Alex is like, what are you talking about? He was like, you didn't sit in anything wet. And I look at him and I go, I'm telling you, my ASS is soaking wet right now. And I said, can you see it? And I turn around and he goes, yeah, I can see it. He goes, how wet is it? And I go, it's like soaking wet, Alex. Like my jeans are soaking wet, okay? It was like I fell in the snow and it like soaked them through. And I was like, so then we get inside and I have to check this bag. Alex doesn't have a bag to check. So we go inside and the line to stand to check a bag is literally like this. I mean, it's like all the way back. The line to go through, we have TSA pre-check. The line to go through TSA pre-check is literally like this. And I'm like, oh, we're not gonna make our plane. Even though we had an hour and a half, I was like, there's no way we're not gonna make our plane. At the same time, my butt is soaked, right? And I don't know why. And then it starts occurring to me, what if somebody peed in the Uber and I was sitting... I don't know why that's what occurred to me, okay? I'm sure it was just somebody spilled something. But that is what occurred to me, was that somebody peed, okay? I know it's gross, but that's where my mind went. And I'm like, ugh. Okay, so I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, let me go check this bag outside. Alex is like, okay, let's go outside. So we go outside, and there's a guy out there, the nicest gentleman in the entire world. He's like, but I thought this was kind of weird what he said to me. I said, why is nobody out here and they're all in line out there? And he goes, because they don't want to tip. And I go, what? Like, I didn't even understand it at first. And he goes, because they don't want to give us a tip out here. Like, if we're going to help you, you have to tip us. I thought it was kind of weird, honestly, that he said it to me. I would have tipped him anyway, but I just was kind of like, well, that's interesting that you would say it like that. So anyway, so he checked us in, and I checked my bag, and I tipped him, and we went on our way, and then we got in the TSA pre-check, which literally the line was like 5 rows back, and I think we got through it in 5 minutes. I mean, it was unbelievable. I couldn't believe how fast it went. There was this girl behind us, and she was so panicked that she wasn't going to make her flight. I mean, like, we were through the line and like so quick, it was unbelievable. Like, I can't see if the battery. Oh. So anyway, so we get on the plane, and yeah, all that. People are watching the football game with no headphones on, and so like you can hear it all. Like I have my headphones on and I'm listening to this Yellow Jacket show, right? And I look at Alex and I'm like, can you hear the football game through their at this point, all I wanted was to eat my peanut M&Ms, get my little cookie that they give you, that Biscoff cookie, and a Dr. Pepper, and I just wanted to sit there and watch my show, okay? Like, I was ready. I was just ready. I was starting to get tired, you know? So I just wanted to relax. So these ladies at the airport were so funny. So this place that we got pizza, it was run by like these like 2 women that, well, like there was like a woman and a man that were like, it was like this deep dish pizza. Well, it was like some was deep dish and some wasn't. So I got a deep dish pizza, cheese pizza. But the women that were running there was like a man and a woman that were like cooking the pizza up, and then there was like 2 women that were running the register, and it was across from 2 like this like on the other side of this like little entrance area, there was like, you know, in the middle there was like a Coke machine and stuff, and then like on the other side, like 15 feet away, 20 feet away, was like this Chinese restaurant, and there were like 2 women that were running the register at the Chinese restaurant. And so in the restaurant side that I went to, it was like these 2 Mexican women, and they were so funny, and they were like older. They were probably like, you know, in their 60s or something. And so Alex came up, because he had already gotten his pizza, because I went and got some like snacks and stuff I wanted some crackers. I didn't know if I was going to eat pizza or anything, but then when I got there and he was sitting down like in this little, it was real small, but it was this food court area, I thought, well, I'll sit down there too. And so he comes up and he was like talking to them and asking where they asked him where he was from, and he said Venezuela, and then they said they were from Mexico, and he asked them where and blah blah. So anyway, so he said, he was asking them for marinara sauce, and I said, do you have marinara? Do you have cheese? And she looked at me and she with this like cute smile, and I go, queso, and she goes, what? And she started laughing, and the other woman started laughing at me again, and I said, cheese, do you have cheese? I turned the camera around, you guys didn't even get to see it, but this person that was like, came around the side of me just totally ran a red light. It happens all the time when I'm driving and vlogging at night. It's amazing to me how many people consciously run red lights. It looks like they're getting ready to do it again. So, anyway, do you want to see? Here, let's see if they did. Oh, they did! They ran it! They ran the red light again. This person is just like running red lights left and right. This is crazy. So anyway, I don't know how I said it, but it was so funny to her. And I said, she goes, if you want it, say it again. And I go, say what? And she goes, cheese. And I go, cheese? And she goes, but in Spanish. And I go, queso? And she goes, she started laughing so hysterically. And I was like, and then Alex is laughing at me. And I'm like, what, how am I saying it? That's funny. And she's like, she looked at me and she goes, honey, you are so cute. And I go, oh, thank you. And I go, but I do. She goes, but say it for me one more time. And I go, queso? And she started laughing. And I was like, what am I saying wrong? Like, I don't know what I'm saying wrong. So anyway, but then I can't see anything without my reading glasses anymore, like when I have to sign something or anything. Alex always has to do it all for me. So I'm standing up there, and like Alex had already sat down and was eating his pizza. So I was like paying for it with a credit card, and she was like, she's like pointing to this, she's like, can you answer this question? And I was like, what is that? I don't have my reading glasses on. She said, it's just asking if you want a tip or not. And I could see that it said like $1, $2, whatever. And so like I hit like the $2 thing, and she starts ringing, she goes, yay! And she starts ringing this bell, and the women across at the what do you call it, the Chinese restaurant, they started ringing their bell too. They were like, yay! You guys, it was so fun. And so every time somebody would, oh Lord, we're falling back. So every time somebody would tip at one of the restaurants, they would start, both sides would ring the bell, like they were cheering each other on. You guys, it was the cutest thing in the entire world. So then when I'm walking away with my Coke and my bags and stuff, she starts yelling queso. I don't even understand what I said wrong. And I said that to Alex, and he just shook his head. So anyway, on the plane with my peanut butter M&Ms, but I also had peanut M&Ms, but I didn't open those. I watched, like I said, the end of Yellow Jackets, and then I never did figure out what I sat in, but my jeans did dry. And we got to the gate with much early time. Much early time? We got there early. So I sat on the plane, and then I was like, I had downloaded the Eyes of Tammy Faye too, and that was when I said I download like multiple things, that was like on HBO Max. I downloaded that just in case my other things that were on like Apple TV or whatever, if they wouldn't let me watch it, then I'd have something to watch. So I ended up watching the Eyes of Tammy Faye because Jessica Chastain is nominated for an Academy Award, and I wanted to see, first of all, I love Jessica Chastain. Second of all, I've always been very fascinated with Tammy Faye, and I have to tell you what is so funny is that the year that Alex and I when we got married, we had become friends. She's kind of still a big deal, actually. She lives in Paris. Her name's Velvet D'Amour. She was a model. She actually was the first plus-size model to ever walk in lingerie in a fashion show, and she walked for Jean-Paul Gaultier and in lingerie, and she got real famous for this ad campaign that she did that says, like, feed the model, short t-shirt and lingerie, and it said feed the models. Anyway, we became very good friends with her, and super sweet. And she's a photographer now. She doesn't model anymore. She's a photographer, but you can look her up online, Velvet D'Amour. And so for our wedding, she sent us a mint condition, limited edition, like first print of a Tammy Faye Baker album. Is that not like a cool wedding gift? So anyway, we still have it. I don't think it's opened or anything. But watching that tonight, I was kind of like, you know what, I think I might want to download some Tammy Faye music. I don't know, her life was so very tragic. I mean, obviously, this is the thing about watching it, if it's true. I mean, she became over time kind of like this gay icon a little bit, a gay icon. But if you watch it, and it's based on the documentary, supposedly, the thing that's kind of sad about it is, well, it's just a sad movie, but that Tammy Faye was never, like, it didn't seem that she was really aware of what her husband was doing. And I'm not talking about the infidelity and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about the money, like the money aspect of it. But she, in her head, because her mom did bring it up, and it was like, and often brought it up, she could somehow justify that she felt like she deserved Manx and things like that because of the people that were donating to the church were paying for it. It's always very interesting to me when you see that. It's like, when I watched that documentary about that Gwen, I can't think of her last name now. She passed away in the plane crash, though. And she did that Way Down church, the Relevant church. And, you know, she had this property that was, like, unbelievable mansion. And it is always very interesting to me how these church folk, religious folk, justify why God wants you to have more than the parishioners that are giving the church their hard-earned money, and yet that money is not going 100% to the church. That money is, a lot of it is going to the wealth of the people that are running the church, you know, which is just very interesting to me. That, and I guess there lies the conundrum, right? Like, if you're really that spiritual or religious of a person, like, wouldn't you struggle with taking, I guess paradox maybe is a better word. A year ago tonight, we were at that, tomorrow night we were at that hotel. That's where we stayed for Hell, and I watched Hell in the Heartland. God, I wish I could watch that show all over again. It was so good. Tragic, but good. But yeah, there lies the paradox, right? Like, so you have these people that are like highly religious and spiritual, supposedly, right? And they're leading all these people, and they're supposed to be inspiring and motivating and yada, yada, yada. But at the same time, it's like they can justify and rationalize, intellectualize. I love the saying in recovery that it's like justification, rationalization, and masturbation. All three, you're just screwing yourself. But it's true. You know, it's like, okay, so here's the paradox. You have these really religious people, right? That are godly people that are supposed to be motivating and inspiring people. And yet they believe they're more deserving of the money, that God wants them to live this life of wealth, and that the people of the church should be affording them this lifestyle, right? Like, doesn't that seem to go against everything that should be true about that statement? So then the paradox is, either you don't take that money, you only take a meager salary, right? Or you aren't really a religious person. Like, you really aren't a person of God. Because a true person of God wouldn't do that, you know? Right? Like, I guess there's so many questions we could ask about. It's like, what true person of God, you know? It's like, I don't know. I guess leading of that. So that's always interesting to me, though, when you see these big, huge churches where these people make a lot of money and all this kind of stuff. They painted Jim Bakker as kind of like this idiot, too, in the movie, which I don't really remember him that way. This is the other thing, like, I don't know the actor that played him, Adam Garfield, I don't know that guy. I feel like I've seen him in something else, but I don't know what else he's been in. I thought he did a fantastic job as Jim Baker. I mean, he was Jim Baker. But the thing is, like, I don't know if people remember. I mean, I was like in high school and in college when all that stuff was going down, and I remember it. And it was like, they were cheese balls. I mean, they were total cheese balls. There was this one part, it's so sad, and Tammy Faye overhears Jim and these 3 people that work with him basically calling Tammy Faye a clown, the way that she paints her makeup, and she's a clown and clown makeup and all this kind of stuff, and it really hurts her feelings, obviously. Like, she's a really good person at heart. It's sad. The end of the movie is just kind of sad how it ends. She lives in this delusional world, kind of, but like, I mean, she always really was a good person. She really was, like, in her heart. I really, truly do believe that she believed the things. I mean, I would see interviews, you know, and I would think she, as much of a characterization of herself that she is, like, I believe that she believes this stuff. But, like, Jim Baker, like, was always kind of like this buffoon, you know? You'd watch him and you'd be like, he's a buffoon. So, said that he's running the 700 Club still to this day. You guys, I didn't even know that show was still on. I can remember when I was growing up as a kid, and I feel like it was like on Channel 4 or something, or like they said it was on that religious channel. Well, we didn't have that religious, I don't know where you would have got that religious channel, but like, we didn't have cable when I was growing up, but I can remember that Pat Robertson being on the television channel. Because there was like this comedian, I can't think of what his name is, Benny or something like that, Benny Hill or something, or maybe he's a minister, but then there's a minister whose name sounds very similar to that, and I would turn on the TV and I would always think that it was going to be this comedian, but it ended up being, it was always this minister. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Their names sound like really similar to each other. Jessica Chastain did a great job. I will say this. I wasn't that incredibly moved by the movie. It was a good movie. I'm glad I watched it. I was interested in the whole thing. I thought Jessica Chastain did a fantastic job. I'm not sure that I don't think that somebody else could have done just as fantastic of a job. Tammy Faye is such an over-the-top character. I will say one thing is that Jessica Chastain nailed her voice. Like, I literally can't. I texted Tanya and I was like, I can't. I said, have you seen this movie? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, I can't stop hearing Tammy Faye's voice going, Jim. It was like this real Minnesota, you know, voice. Like, Minnesota. She had like that kind of accent. I have some friends of mine from Minnesota and they have that, that sound. In Indiana, we just have a twang. That's why people think I'm from the South. They're always like, are you originally from the South? No, Indiana, much worse. There's like 15 different accents in Indiana, so nobody knows where you're from. And if you go to other country, you can't tell anybody you're from Indianapolis because they don't know what that means, right? Except for Indianapolis 500. Which, like, still gives them no point of reference. So I just always say close to Chicago. That's what I like, if I go out of the country, I always say, like, if we go to Mexico or something, somebody's like, no. I mean, if they're from the U.S. and I say Indianapolis, obviously they know where that's at. But, like, if I meet somebody that's from, like, Mexico or Europe usually, and they'll be like, no, where are you from? And I'm like, Indianapolis. They just look at me, and I'm like, it's close to Chicago. And they're like, oh. So... But yeah, like, if you have any interest or you grew up during that time, like, I told Alex on the way home, I was like, I don't think that you would enjoy that movie. He was like, well, I don't have any interest in watching that movie. I said, well, you didn't, like, really. He goes, I know who she is, but he goes, I don't really know a whole lot more about it than that. I go, okay. She died in 2007. I thought it was a lot later. I thought she just died like a couple years ago. And I don't know what she died of, but... sad. I want to see that Olivia Colman movie on Netflix called The Lost Daughter. Olivia Colman won the Academy Award for Best Actress. I think it was last year. And I didn't watch that movie that she won for last year. I would like to see it. I can't remember what it's called. But I watched her acceptance speech several times because one of my favorite things to do is watch. Really, I was going to say actors and actresses, but it's really more actresses than anything. I don't really care to watch actors. I love watching actresses' Oscar acceptance speeches. Frances McDormand's one of my favorite. When she won for the 3 Billboards over Ebbing, Montana, or Ebbing, Missouri, or wherever it's called. But anyway, I love her, period. Frances McDormand, she's fantastic. Fantastic. One of the best actresses of our time, if not the best. That movie, Nomadland. Like, I just rewatched it recently because I downloaded it and I started rewatching, like, not the whole thing, but some of it. And then I downloaded the soundtrack, and I just was like, this is like one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen in my entire life. And there are like nuances in that movie and pieces where I'm like, she doesn't even like speak or say anything, but just like with a look, I'm like, I feel exactly like you do. Have you ever been like that in a movie before? So anyway, Olivia Colman won. I think it was last year or the year before. And I didn't watch that movie. I didn't see that movie that she won for. I need to watch it. But The Lost Daughter is on, and she's supposed to be a real contender for the Academy Awards again this year. Is anybody surprised that Lady Gaga didn't get nominated for House of Gucci? I'm not. I'm not. This coffee is so hot. So this is the Cake Boss Hazelnut Biscotti. I had to put my reading glasses on just to read what kind it was. But it's really, really delicious. And I have one equal in there. I love Lady Gaga, but that movie was, I don't know who I would have. The thing is, if anybody else had played the part of Patricia Regatti or whatever her name was, nobody would have cared about the movie. They knew the whole movie was built around Lady Gaga because the part that she's in is literally like only like a 9th of the book of which they based it on, if even that, an 8th of the book maybe, or 10th of the book. I don't know. It just wasn't. I tell you that I'd watch it again and give another opinion, but my God, it's one of the longest movies on the face of the earth. It felt so long watching that movie. And I can't remember who else is up. I wanted to watch that Power of the Dog or whatever it's called until I watched the trailer for it. And it's like a rancher and her son, or a rancher leaves and his wife and her son. I don't know. It doesn't look like anything that I would be interested in, which means it'll probably be something that I'll end up loving. And, because I kind of love those kind of movies, but. And then Coda with Marlee Matlin is supposed to be really, really good, and it's up for like Best Picture, and I think she might be up for Best Actress. I was looking at all the nominations. I love that you can like, I mean, it kind of takes away from some of the huge excitement, but I do love that you can watch several of the movies like on streaming apps. So like, you don't even have to leave your house to like go see half of the movies that are up for Academy Awards. I just think it's, you know, back in the day, there was like one year, the year after my mom died, that followed, well, I don't think it was that year, because that year I don't think I watched Academy Awards, but it was a year after. I took off like Thursday and Friday, and Alex and I had the weekend before, we went and saw Argo and something else. It was that year. And so I went and watched almost on a Thursday and a Friday. Was it a Thursday and a Friday, or was it just a Friday? I can't remember. But I started in the morning, and I went and saw almost every movie that was up for an Academy Award that year. And I just went, it was so much fun, you guys. And I literally, like, I went to the first showing of the first movie that morning, and then I went from there to the next movie theater, to the next movie theater, and Tanya and I, that night, the last movie that I saw was Django Unchained, and we sat in the very back row, and she ate her nachos and hot dog, and, that was the last movie that I saw, and I like saw almost all the movies for the Academy Award. And I was so excited about it because I knew all the movies, so I was really excited and rooting for people and stuff. But I will say this, it's a lot of work for an award that is over like that quick. I mean, for them too, right? You know what I mean? But I mean, obviously it's a lot of work for them, but I'm just saying it's a lot of work to like go see, you know, a 2-hour, like one of the movies I went and saw was The Impossible. I can't remember who the actress is. It's the Australian actress. I love her, but I can't remember her name. But anyway, it's about a family who they were like in a tsunami. I think it was like the tsunami in like Sri Lanka or something, and they all get like taken out of it. Like the hotel gets destroyed. And it's like about her trying to find her family, and she's like float. I mean, you guys, it is one of the best movies I've ever seen. And I really wanted her to win Best Actress. Whoever I want to win never usually wins. I really wanted. Well, there were two people that I wanted to win. I can't remember. One of them was. It was The Year of the Wife a couple years ago, who I wanted to win, but then there was like another person that I was like is very deserving of this as well, and they ended up winning. But I'm not a huge like Glenn Close fan. I like her in certain things, but the movie The Wife was really good. If you've never seen it, I mean, like if she was gonna win an Academy Award for anything, because she's been nominated a lot, she should have won for The Wife. I mean, she was good in that movie. I mean, she was really good. That movie was just fantastic anyway. She was the wife of a famous writer, and it was like her role was just to stand by his side, but they had this huge secret that they were keeping. And it's kind of a breaking down of who she is over time. I mean, it is unbelievable. It's a really good movie. But I can't remember who else won that year. I feel like it was like Octavia Spencer, but I can't remember who else was up that year. I love the Academy Awards. Sometimes they make me really sad because my mom, Tanya and I used to watch them every year. Oh, you know what? I wasn't going to watch them this year because I think that's the weekend that we're going to be in Florida. So I was like, well, there's no reason for me to get all prepared for the Academy Awards when I won't even be here, you know? But, oh well. I can't believe that it is 10 degrees, and yesterday I was on the beach and it was 80. It was 70 degrees warmer. This camera, you guys, is saying, Peter, it's time for you to stop. I said I was going to vlog for like a half an hour, and I vlogged for like 50 minutes, so I'm going to get off here. And I am going to, you guys, I am so behind on my reading. I was going to start Dexter, but I didn't, so I just listened to a little bit of, Interview with the Vampire. My plan is to finish Interview with the Vampire in the next couple of days. I don't know what I'm going to read. I'm like, please don't let me fall into a reading slump because of Interview with the Vampire. But I'm like, I made it the January book, so I have to finish it. I might just go right in and just read The Maid, which is the February book for Peter's Book Club, and then the True Crime Book Club for Peter's Book Club, because I don't want to get behind on these books again. So I think that might be what I do. And then hopefully I think they're going to be really good, both of those. I've heard some good things about the True Crime Book Club, so. And I've heard great things about the book, The Maid. And I've also heard really good things about the book, The Christie Affair. I might make that the book for March. I don't know, for Peter's Book Club. Has anybody read The Christie Affair? Is it good? I've heard it's about, I think, Agatha Christie. and an affair. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna get off here now. So, if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And I hope that you guys are having a magically amazing Monday. I hope that you're refreshed, renewed, rejuvenated, and relaxed for the week ahead. Come on, don't go. We're almost done. Hang in there, camera. We're almost done. And remember these 3 important things. 1, you can start your day over whenever you want. 2, that was 1, you can start your day over whenever you want. 2, practice random acts of kindness. And 3, most importantly, make sure that you reach out to someone that means something to you. That's not how I usually say it. Most importantly, make sure that you reach out to someone and let them know how much they mean to you. That's it right there. Just call them up, text them, send them a letter, write them a note, write them a postcard, send them some flowers, send them a gift. Hey, I'm thinking of you. And you're welcome, Troy. He asked me to include those 3 things in there in the video, but I do love including those in there because I think they're important to remember. So, and yeah, I love you guys, and I will see you. I think that's it. I think that's it. Is that it? That's it. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you. Oh, and for those that need to hear, I had to do. I'm back in Indiana. I'm back again in Indiana. Oh wait. Back home again in Indiana. So since I'm back in Indianapolis, I had to do, you know, this. For those that need to hear it, and those that want to hear it, and those that just happen to stick around. One more, I love you. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you. Happy birthday, Lena.